of this jungle dump. I am fed up to here with this treasure hunt business. Yeah. Ira, you miserable worm, you lied to me. You said she was a city girl, out of her element. Just get her in the map and bring them back. Piece of cake. Piece of cake, my butt. What went wrong? I'll tell you what went wrong. She's got herself a partner who likes shooting holes and everything. That's just the beginning of what's going on down here. There's nothing you can say that'll make me go back into that hellhole. Don't bring that up, Ira. Ira, stop it! All right, I'll go back. But this time, you're coming with me.
Released in 1984, the making of Romancing the Stone, directed by Robert Zemeckis, was an uphill struggle, starting back in 1979 when first-time screenwriter Diane Thomas wrote an adventure story that would become the surprise hit of the year. At the time, few studios saw much in the script, but actor-producer Michael Douglas was attached to the project early, later persuaded to take the role of the film's dashing and cocky male lead. After their first choices for the role, allegedly including such well-known names as Clint Eastwood, Jack Nicholson, Christopher Reeve, and even Sly Stallone fell through.
It's tough in the jungle.
After actress Deborah Winger, Douglas's first choice for the leading lady, Joan Wilder, fell through, the role eventually went to Kathleen Turner, portraying the movie's unlikely heroine, a somewhat mousy and awkward romance novelist who is lonely.
I finished, sweetheart. You want to celebrate?
With little luck on the romance front in real life.
Maybe it's silly, but I know that there is somebody out there for me.
And she dreams of being swept off on an adventure like in one of her stories. As the old saying goes, though, be careful what you wish for soon, Joan finds herself thrust into an adventure of her own.
Hello?
Traveling to Colombia to rescue her sister Elaine, played by Mary Ellen Trainor, from a pair of crook brothers, Ralph and Ira, played wonderfully by Danny DeVito and Zach Norman.
Look at those snappers, Ralph.
They are holding her sister hostage until Joan can bring them a treasure map, sent to her by Elaine's late husband, just before he was murdered for it, by this guy, Colonel Zolo.
The man who killed my husband?
The butcher who killed your husband.
Played by Manuel Ojeda, who is also hot on Joan's trail during the film, and will stop at nothing to get it. Not long after arriving in Colombia, and getting stranded in the middle of the jungle, she meets Douglas, playing Jack T. Colton. What does the T stand for?
Trustworthy.
Yeah, we'll see about that. He's a sort of mercenary type who reluctantly agrees after being paid by Joan to lead her through the jungle.
Is nothing that I own sacred to you?
Only your $375.
Coming across at first as a bit of a dick, he's in for it for one thing, the money. Having his own dreams of one day buying a boat and sailing away on the ocean. Though the two romantic leads hardly get along at first, naturally, their chemistry and that of the two actors is very good in this film, in my opinion, and soon their adventure goes into overdrive. The film's titular stone, the treasure or MacGuffin at the end of the map, is known as El Corazon, which is Spanish for the heart. But the heart of what?
I don't care.
From one chase after another, eluding Zolo as he,
with his own private army to back him up,
is usually only one step behind, while Ralph, who is tasked with making sure Joan gets to the hostage exchange with the map, tries to take matters into his own hands.
Now move it before Batman comes home. Batman.
As Joan starts to fall for Jack's scoundrelly charms,
A complete scoundrel.
we are left to decide if Joan and Jack's budding romance is true, or if he has ulterior motives. Could he also only be in it for the stone? Also memorable in the film is Alfonso Arau as Juan,
Vision Wilder?
a Colombian drug lord / superfan of Joan's books.
I read all your books.
Exceeding everyone's expectations, especially 20th Century Fox, who initially fired director Zemeckis after viewing an early cut of the film. Romancing the Stone was a blockbuster.
Romancing the Stone, rated PG. Starts Friday at a selected theater near you.
And Fox's only hit of that year to boot. It majorly boosted the career of director Zemeckis, whose prior films had only performed modestly at best, allowing him to go on to his next project, the Steven Spielberg-produced classic, Back to the Future. The film garnered its leading stars quite a bit of attention as well, and Douglas, who unlike his father, Kurt, had only made his mark on television until that time. And from then on, he began appearing more and more on the silver screen. The success of Romancing the Stone also fast-tracked a sequel, naturally, Jewel of the Nile, releasing only the next year, but the very troubled production and overall meh of the final result of that one is a story for another time. Romancing the Stone, however, in spite of early criticisms that it was a Raiders of the Lost Ark clone, has stood the test of time, though writer Diane Thomas sadly did not survive to see the finished product. It's a funny, romantic, and action-packed flick with a pace that rarely slows once it picks up.
Holy shit!
The writing is witty and believable, and you could tell the actors and filmmakers involved were having a fun time making it.
Where you going? Where you steering? You not going anywhere?
For the most part. Apparently, Zemeckis' more technical style of direction didn't gel with Kathleen Turner, but in spite of whatever disagreements they had, it wouldn't be the last time they worked together, with Turner teaming up with Zemeckis once more later that decade to voice Roger Rabbit's curvaceous toon wife, Jessica. But let's not get distracted. Romancing the Stone has been a favorite of mine since I was a kid, even if growing up I found more to appreciate. And certainly a fair bit of the more adult-tinged humor went over my head at the time, but now it's one of those movies, one of those many special movies, of which quotes from it have entered into part of my regular vocabulary.
I lost my Langostino.
Didn't you know movie quotes can be like a second language?
Yeah?
One thing I'm not the biggest fan of, though, is the score. It's cheesy, and I think composer Alan Silvestri, another frequent Zemeckis collaborator, blew this away with his score the following year in 1985. So, if you want a dose of pulpy, but not as pulpy as indie, action and adventure, with a memorable duo of leads, side characters, set pieces, and comedic moments, you could do worse than indulging in this tasty bit of popcorn.
Poisonous?
Yeah. But very tasty.
Joan Wilder, you and your sister can go.